In today's video, I have a vintage Charvel guitar to show you. It's not every day here at Squealing Pig Guitars we get a vintage Charvel instrument to show you, so I'm very excited to show you this beautiful Rainbow Sparkle from 1988. So without further ado, let's go back to the 80s and play some Def Leppard. Hey guys, welcome back to Squealing Pig Guitars, the home of luxury shred machines here in Nottingham, England. My name is Ben Keightley, and today we have something a little bit different for you. But before we get into that, I hope you're all having a great start to your week. Yesterday I uploaded a vlog of our brand new Gibson room, and it's really exciting as we're building a new physical shop to put all these beautiful guitars that we demo in these videos up so you guys can come and see them. But yeah, back to the topic of the video. Well, today we have a very special Charvel. This is when Charvel was also co-owned by Jackson, so you'll see a lot of Jackson hardware on this guitar. But basically, this is from 1988, and it's the Rainbow Crackle finish, which is my favourite Charvel guitar. So let me go and grab the case, and let's crack open this piece of 80s history. Now, we have quite the interesting case for this Charvel. I don't think I've ever seen a case like this. So guys, I've got this very unique case on the sofa now, and as you can see, we've got some really cool aging on this case. Obviously, this has been about for the best part of 40 years. So let's open it up. Let's see. We've got some pretty interesting latches on here. They took a little bit of a while to get off, but they basically hook on like that and then screw on like that. It's a very interesting locking system. But opening it up, inside sits a beautiful piece of 1980s Charvel. This is a 1988 Model 6 MIJ Charvel. And as you can see, there's a lot of Jackson branding over this guitar. We'll talk about why that is later on. But a pretty cool relic of its time. Very reminiscent of like the Def Leppard guitars. We've got the original Charvel strap, which is very cool. Comes with strap locks, and we also have the tremolo bar, which is in chrome. Got spare springs, and looks like adjustments for the truss rod. So that's all you get in a 1988 Charvel. So let's get out of the case and run down the specs. So guys, here we are, the Charvel MIJ Model 6, and it's an absolute beauty. It's in the Rainbow Crackle finish, and this is a pretty iconic looking guitar. This really reminds me of Phil Collins' Def Leppard guitar, the very rainbow sparkly ones, all the cool finishes he's had over the years, and this is a very kind of iconic shape. Obviously, Charvel and Jackson were kind of pioneering the Superstrap model at this time, and a lot of people were playing these in their kind of glam metal bands. So as I mentioned, the official name of this is Charvel MIJ Model 6 HSS Rainbow Crackle 1988. I can't believe this guitar was made in 1988. It really is a kind of relic of its time. Obviously, it has pulled up a little bit of age from that time. You've got a little bit of aging on the hardware, some of the paint's gone. The neck is really nice and worn in. But to be fair, for a guitar that's this old, it is in incredible condition. There's some specs that you wouldn't see today, like the 3 mini toggle switches. So these indicate whether the pickup is on or off. Down is on and up is off. And then we have volume and 2 tones. So let's break down the specs. So to start off with, we have a poplar body on this one, which is interesting, and then we have a neck-through construction. The neck is maple, and it's a neck-through, as I just mentioned. You've got that crackle finish all over, so you can't really see the join, but yeah, this is a neck-through guitar. We don't have any binding on the body, but we do have binding on the neck, which is patinaed over the years, so it's got this kind of yellow hue with the black dots. That would have initially been white, as you can tell from the top, which doesn't have any lacquer on, is still white. The only thing that patinas is lacquer, that's why it perceives to be yellow, but the binding is actually still white. We have rosewood fingerboard with shark fin mother of pearl inlays. And we've got that very iconic Charvel headstock, probably more known for being with Jackson now. Obviously, as I said, the two companies were co-owned together, so they used a lot of different specs on their guitars, but you don't really see Charvel using this as much anymore. They've kind of gone to more of a kind of Fender-style headstock. We've got Jackson branded tuners on this one, and we have Jackson branded hardware all over this. So the floating tremolo is Jackson, and the pickups are also Jackson. The pickups in particular are the J200 single coils, and then we have the J50BC humbucker in the bridge. We then have 1 volume and 2 tones on this one. So we have a 12-inch to 16-inch compound radius. And the neck carve is very interesting on this one. I would say it's a D. It has a very pronounced shoulders, and it feels quite rectangular in the hand. For a shredder guitar, it's definitely not the thinnest neck that you're ever going to feel. It actually has quite a lot of chunk to it. It's very wide though. Also, for an 88 model, we have pretty thick frets on here. They're fairly high profile. Obviously not as high profile as a shred guitar would be today, but it still has a fair bit of gauge to them, so they don't need refretting just yet. And we have 24 frets on this one. What is really cool is on this back plate, I don't know if you can see in the light there, there's obviously been a sticker and some writing here where someone has maybe put a band sticker or put some writing on, which is quite interesting. So it does show that this guitar has had quite the life before coming into our hands. It's just an old-fashioned guitar, and you don't really see guitars being built like this anymore with the 3 toggle switches, the really big oversized locking nut. It actually has a normal nut on it as well, which is really interesting. So although it does look the part, does it sound like it belongs in the 80s? Well, let's go to the tone demo and find out. Hello guys, welcome to the tone demonstration of this 1988 MIJ Charvel. As you can see, it definitely looks the part, but does it sound the part? Let's find out. So I plugged it into my Kemper profiler, and this is the tone that I was using in the intro to today's video, where I did my Def Leppard inspired cover of Hysteria. This was the lead tone I was using. As you can see by the 3 selector switches here, it's basically like an on-off situation, a bit like the Brian May guitar. So each one of these dip switch either means the pickup is on or off, downward means on, upwards means off. This is the tone I was using at the start, which is kind of like an overdriven plexi with a tube screamer and a little bit of reverb. Let's go. Really saturated tone. These pickups kick a lot of output out, the Jackson pickups. Let's do some chords and see how it deals with that. have to say, obviously, it sounds incredible. It has a really nice saturated tone. It's got a very low action on it and quite an odd neck profile. It's fairly thick for a shredder guitar. Obviously, this was made in '88, so maybe they're experimenting with the neck profiles. I'd say that the frets could do with being a little bit bigger. Obviously, that's kind of like a vintage spec as well, how the frets are a little bit lower. But the fretboard feels quite rectangular. That's the way I'd explain the fretboard, but it's very easy to play, quite hard to bend on, I'd say, just because of the lack of frets, but in terms of shredding, you barely have to put any pressure down, which is obviously great for a shred guitar. So that was the bridge pickup with quite a high bit of gain. I'm just going to clean down the tone on the Kemper profile now and show you the neck pickup. Just pure 80s sounds. Probably the most inappropriate playing of Little Wing, but I thought it would be fun on this Charvel. It just goes to show, even though a guitar may be a metal-looking guitar, these single coils still react really nicely and still give that kind of super strat tone. When I incorporate that middle pickup, we really start hearing them strat tones. Show how versatile a guitar can really be. Let's just hear the middle pickup on its own now. expect this guitar to have such a lovely strat tone. Really like that. Let's incorporate the bridge pickup now so you can get some dire straight tone. So yeah, that guitar really performs nicely. The only thing that obviously it's not very good at is double stops because of the floating bridge. Basically, when you have a floating bridge and you bend the string, it detunes the rest of the strings to compensate for the bending. So it's a little bit harder to bend on a floating bridge. But also, if you have a static note, for example, it's just going to detune that note. So it's even harder to find the pitch. Finally, let's hear that bridge pickup with the gain back on. So guys, we're at the end of the video. I really hope you've enjoyed checking out this 1988 Model 6 Charvel in Rainbow Sparkle. Before I get into my personal review of this guitar, make sure to head down on this video and hit the like button and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're new to these videos, well, welcome to Squealing Pig Guitars. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you're notified when we make a new post. This really helps us increase engagement on these videos and get bigger and better guitars on the channel. So guys, what am I going to rate this guitar? Obviously, you guys know I'm not a massive fan of super strats and them dinky style bodies, but this one I thought performed really nicely. I liked how you had the really high gain bridge pickup tones, but you're able to clean it down and get some very genuine Strat tones. I was playing Human Nature on this guitar, you know, having a lot of kind of spanky tones, and it responded really nicely to fingerstyle, and it was very easy to play. My only problem is obviously the floating tremolo. Obviously doing double stops and bends is a lot harder when you have a floating tremolo, but obviously this guitar is a shredder guitar, it needs a floating tremolo. So I'm going to give this guitar a 6 out of 10 for today's episode. I think in terms of a super shredder guitar, it performs extremely well. It's also a vintage guitar, so it's an old looking guitar with some really cool kind of archaic features. If you are a Charvel fan, or a fan of kind of Jackson and that kind of, you know, funny history that both of them companies have, then I definitely recommend checking out this guitar. In terms of how it plays, it's a very easy guitar to play. The owner before has set this action very low, so you barely have to press down on the strings. It's almost effortless. As soon as I put my finger there, it's basically making a note. It's such a low action, but it has no buzzing, which is really well done. Obviously, ideal action for a shred guitar. I'd say that the pickups are a little high. They probably could do a coming down a little bit, as they do interfere a little bit with the pick. And the tremolo could do with a little bit of lubrication of some sort, because it's a little bit stiff. But other than that, the controls, the electronics, all sounding great. So it's in perfect condition for an 80s guitar. This finish has definitely grown on me. Looks like it would fit well in Dragon Ball Z. Very, very cool indeed. So yeah, that's my review today, guys. 6 out of 10, mainly because of my preferences as a guitar player, but I can appreciate it for what it is. It's a pretty awesome guitar. But most importantly, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. As I mentioned, make sure to leave your comments down below, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. But thank you so much for checking out Squealing Pig Guitars. My name is Ben Keightley, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. But until then, keep rocking, guys. I'll see you soon.